How's it going, guys? Matt Davis with Final Rise here. Welcome to the fourth and final episode in our Behind the Design series. In our previous videos, we talked about the waist belt, we talked about the shoulder harness, we talked about the shell pouches, the water bottle holders, and really dive into the intricacies of those components and give you guys a lot of context and education behind the why and really why we did it the way that we did it. So if you haven't had a chance to watch those, we would highly encourage you to watch those even before this video. You're welcome to watch this one and maybe go back and watch the other ones as well, but it's kind of linear in the way that we walk you through an educational process to help you understand our systems in their entirety. And really our goal with this series is to help empower you as a customer, help educate you, and help you make the best buying decision possible as you're going into the season. Waist belt, shoulder harness that we talked about already, those are universal components that are used throughout all of our vests. So every single one of these vests is going to use the same waist belt and the same shoulder harness design. That's beneficial for a handful of different reasons because it does allow you the opportunity to plug and play a little bit. You could run a full-size vest during the hunting season. With a full-size vest on any of these, you do have the ability to transport an injured dog out of the field. You're able to just open these G-hooks out of this loops. The game bag is going to separate. You can load the dog in there. We've got some light framing to give it support and structure. You're able to transport it out. Now, if you're like us, upland hunting, dog training, dog handling, that's a lifestyle. That isn't something that just happens from September to December every single year. And so we really wanted to design multiple assets or multiple things that can work in unison together to give you guys the ability to linearly adjust and have modularity in that. One of the things you can do, like I said, you can start with a full-size game bag, and then come training season, you may want to scale it down and pick up one of our sidekick vests. And now you don't have to own two entire different vests. You can purchase just the game bag itself and you can swap that out. You can repurpose your shell pouches, your water bottle holders, all those different things that you've already made the investment in, but now you've got the ability to just go and add versatility into your system. So plug and play, lots of different ways to kind of skin that cat, and where everything is set up on a Molly platform, there's a lot of flexibility with how you want to set that up for you. Our goal with all of our designs here and the Final Rise system in its entirety is to give you a platform that you can turn into what is most useful to you. None of us really do the exact same things the exact same way, so having that ability to be flexible is a huge value and one of the things we took into heavy consideration when designing this. So we're going to start kind of cream of the crop here, top of the totem pole. We have our Summit XT vest. This is a full 1,000-face denier fabric. This is very, very robust, very abrasion resistant. I mean, if you're hard on your gear, or you're one of those lucky guys that gets to hunt more than us common folk, having something that's going to stand the test of time. If you're a buy once, cry once person and you want a vest that's going to last you your lifetime and maybe be able to pass on down, this Summit XT is just absolutely bomb-proof. Just touching on the outside of it really quickly here, we have built-in jacket lashes that is unique to this particular vest. That's a modular option on our other game bags, but those are sewn in on here. You have the bungee on back here. This is great for a light rain jacket, windbreaker. A lot of times we find shed horns where we're bird hunting, and so being able to throw a cool mule deer antler in the back, maybe for some taxidermy work, or to just have her in your collection. It's fun to be able to have that, not have that in the game bag, taking up precious real estate, and not having those tines pointing towards you either. You don't want those to be poking you. Moving down, we have molly webbing found on the back and on the sides of the game bag, and that gives it the ability to be configurable with some of our additional storage pockets. We have a rear accessory pouch that can attach right here. That's great for some of the insulated layers. You know, if you're running a puffy type vest, those are usually pretty fragile as far as the face fabric that's on those. So to protect those, you can strap them in the jacket lashes, but it's a great way to be able to secure some of those more delicate garments. And then side pouches, which are sold in a pair, those attach onto the side. They're going to give you additional storage capacity as well without really adding additional width because the water bottles sit here. We have the ladder locks on the side here. If you've watched our waist belt video, you understand how this works. There's a strap that stems from the center of the waist belt. It feeds back, loops through here, cinches forward. It gives you an additional sizing location, but it also gives incredible lateral stability to this vest where it's being basically coming from your hip points all the way back here. It's not going to rock. It's going to ride very level as you're loading. With maybe all the birds are over here, it's still going to stay stable. It's not going to rock to one side. It's not going to put excessive pressure on one side of the shoulder harness and make that uncomfortable. All of our full-size vests, we use a mesh panel here. This is going to provide maximum ventilation to you as well as to the game bag itself, so dual purpose there. Early season, it's warm as it is, so being able to have some ventilation there is very important. And then we have the lumbar pads. These don't have the padding in them currently. These are just pulled off the racks here, but we do have padding that will go in this lumbar pad. This folds over the top of the waist belt to sandwich that in place. Again, take time to watch the waist belt video and you'll understand really the why and the importance of that lumbar pad. That is something that is unique to the Final Rise system, kind of separates us from what else is out there. And then we've got a nice little hit of grip fabric here. It's going to help it ride very, very stable. Keep your shirt tucked in. Garments aren't going to pull up as you're walking and moving through the field. I'm going to open these G-hooks really quick. This is how you would load a dog on all of our full-size vests. Like I said, with these G-hooks, you have the ability to open this up for cleaning or loading a dog. Just for demonstration purposes, to give you guys view into some of the design aspects on here, it's nice to be able to open this up. So at the very top here, we have a very simple clip. This is going to clip into any type of vertical bladder that you want to run. And then down along the inside of that, we have this pouch right here. This pouch is bar tacked at 2 locations here, which make it compatible with both vertical and lumbar style water bladders. Now, some folks have asked, why don't you run a pouch all the way up through here? That was really one of the problems that I ran in with previous vests that we owned prior to making our own, is people were making, pouches that came up onto my back, usually using some type of non-permeable or non-breathable fabric. And if I didn't want to run a water bladder, well, now I've got this fabric flush against my back that doesn't breathe. So it went against the entire purpose of having mesh on my back. If I'm just going to throw a layer of fabric on there that decreases the ventilation, it doesn't make sense to me. So being able to attach and secure that here, and then being able to secure basically the lower third of that bladder in here. These stitches simply sit on either side of the bladder. It gives that lateral stability. It's going to ride very, very comfortably. It's not going to fall out. But in only having a single stitch at the top here, it's not sewn all the way down. I could take a lumbar bladder, stuff that in there, rotate it, and if I want to run a lumbar bladder, I have the ability to do that. If you don't run a bladder in general, late season, I don't have to. I like reloading, so I usually will put my spent holes in here. Usually I'll have maybe some dude wipes or nippers, different things like that I want access to quickly if I need to, without having to take off my pack. So it's great for the bladders, great for organization. Moving on to the side of the game bag, on both sides we have a zippered compartment here. This entire piece right here is a pocket, so it's about the size of my hand. You have one of those on either side, and then on the panel right here you have also a full-size accessible pocket right there. One of the things we accomplished with having these pockets here is predominantly previous vest designs would have a very large pocket right here. Well, the bigger the pocket, the bigger the things you're going to put in there. Well, the bigger something is, the more it's going to weigh. If you guys have any type of backpacking experience, this is the last place that I want to put excessive waste. It's far away from my body, it's below my waist belt, and that's going to induce that stress and that pull into that shoulder harness. So following standard backpacking practices, which is where a lot of our design concepts stem from, we shifted that weight up and closer to your body. So you're not really compromising organization here. You're not compromising what you can carry, but it's kind of set up that it's fairly foolproof that no matter how you load it, it's going to be comfortable. One last thing to point out as well is we do have some light framing that we've put into the sides and rear of the bag. And now these are brand new, so they've got a little bit more structure to them, but any type of woven fabric, especially webbing, is going to break down and kind of conform over time. So over time, this is going to kind of sag just a little bit, but having that already open makes it so much easier to just reach back and drop a bird and load it into the game bag. I'm sure we've all experienced at some point in our bird hunting journey where we had to call our buddy across the field and had them load, a bird into our vest or struggle to get a bird in there. I tell most folks, if you can scratch your butt, you can load a bird in the vest here. Most of us have the ability to do that. So a non-issue, and one of those things we wanted to make sure that we knocked out of the park, especially for some of the folks that may not have great shoulder mobility, maybe getting a little bit older. A lot of guys have moved to front loading vests because it's easy to load them here. It's the same thing. If you can load a bird here, you can load it in the back, and ultimately a front loading vest, at some point I have to push that weight around. So my hand's gonna end up in the same spot, but now I'm trying to go through a little hole. Having this light framing, we solved a lot of problems. Young, old, new hunter, experienced hunter, it checks a lot of those boxes. Very, very easy, intuitive to use in the field. These two game bags, the XT and the Summit vest, minus the jacket lashes, they are, and the fabric difference, this is 500 denier fabric with the orange being 1000 in the accent. These are equally the same proportionally in the game bag designs. The bladder hooks, the organization, the zippered pouches, the lumbar pad, those are all the same. There is no difference there. One thing to point out here, just as I'm looking, because I see them here, we do have grommets installed on the bottom of the game bag as well. One of the great properties about Cordura is not only is it very abrasive resistance, but it is a lined fabric. The wrong side or the raw side of the fabric does have a sealant to it, so it makes it very, very water resistant. I can't say it's waterproof, but is very, very water resistant. And hunting late season, your dog brings you back a snow-covered rooster or chucker or something like that. You start throwing all those wet things in the back, maybe a wet layer, maybe it rained and you threw your coat back there, whatever. All that water could accumulate on the inside of your game bag. So having those grommets just gives it the ability to be able to drain out and gives more lifetime, and just makes it easier to maintain in the long run there. So that covers the XT and the Summit game bag. Moving on to the Legacy. Conceptually, again, very, very similar. Same dimensions, still have some reinforcement on the side, but the Legacy is designed to be a little bit more simple for guys that maybe are coming back to the truck more frequently. Maybe you're hunting a parcel here, a parcel there. Maybe you want to run multiple dogs, so you're not far away from the truck for excessive amounts of time. You don't need all of the organization. You don't need the additional storage pouches. That's okay. And so it just made sense to be able to kind of tier these out and make sure that we're making the right product for the right person in the end use. If there was a feature that you didn't need, don't pay for it. It doesn't make sense, right? Get the right vest for you. And the Legacy, for a lot of guys that are doing shorter walks or can't be in the field all day, this totally checks the boxes. On the back of it here, we do have some webbing. There is lashing points right here. This isn't compatible with the rear accessory pouch, but if you do want to add a set of the jacket lashes that I talked about earlier, you can feed that through here and you can still strap and secure a soft shell or an additional layer to the back of the vest. That's just keeping it out of your game bag. This is precious real estate. We don't want a giant game bag. We don't want to look like a Ninja Turtle trying to run up the hill. This is set up to where it's minimal enough that it's going to be able to carry limits of wild birds, and that's about it. That's what it's kind of set up to do. Obviously you can open this, carry a dog, but again, just keeping this low profile, very streamlined, but still giving you ability to stay in the field a little bit longer if you need some layering options. The only zippered pouch this vest has is the panel zipper right here. So you still have a great organizational pocket here. You're still able to carry snacks, first aid kit, more of the essential type items. You don't have the zippered pockets on either side, and you do not have the ability to use a bladder with this vest. You don't have the panel here, you don't have the clip here. One of the things that's different on the Legacy vest, this is the one vest that doesn't come with the water bottle holders that go on your waist belt. That is because this is designed with these pouches on the side to be able to carry those water bottles. So it's going to come with our simplified Legacy shell pouch. You still have the waist belt, you still have the shoulder harness, and if you want to purchase the water bottle holders as an additional accessory, you have locations on the waist belt to where you can attach that. So you can still run that the same. In theory, you could run 4 water bottles with this vest. You could add the water bottle holders on the waist belt and then have your water bottles on the side here. But for guys that are maybe coming back to the truck more frequently, maybe they're only running one dog and their water needs in the field aren't as excessive as someone that's running multiple dogs or not coming back to the truck, you can drop a single bottle in here, still be comfortable, still carry all that weight, and have room for the essentials there. Breathable mesh on the side here. on the back here, excuse me, sitting against your back, maximize that ventilation. You've got your lumbar pad, you've got your ladder locks, give it all that stability it needs. And as mentioned, I've probably said it a couple times now, all of our full-size feature vests, that is the Summit XT, the Summit, and the Legacy, all three of these have the ability to transport an injured dog from the field. That's the Legacy. The final vest that we'll talk about in this episode, and we appreciate you taking time to follow us all the way to the end. Hopefully this has been super educational for you and informative. We do have other product videos, but this was something where we could just go off the deep end for all you gear nerds like the rest of us. This is the right series for you, so we appreciate you taking time to follow through here. Man, there were a number of things that I really wanted to accomplish in the design of this particular product. Predominantly minimal type training bags or quail hunting bags were kind of in a dove belt design. It was a very simple pouch, very, very minimal by nature, but it was missing what I felt were some of the essential features. Now, if I think about quail hunting, when I go down quail hunting down in Arizona, I've been down to Mexico, it's warm. If we're running dogs, I need water, right? So these minimal setups that aren't configurable with bladders or don't have the ability to carry the water kind of defeats the purpose. You're past that point of diminishing returns. Yeah, my vest is super small and minimal because I'm hunting small birds, but I can't carry the rest of the gear that I need. So with this design, I'll open this up here, but we do have this bladder pouch lined on the inside here, and that's going to allow you to carry a 1.5 or 2 liter lumbar bladder or lumbar style bladder. That's going to sit very secure, and then you've still got full real estate in your game bag for quail. I've even chucker hunted with this. I run the bigger shell pouches, so I have the organization, but that's kind of the proving grounds for all of our vests because that's what I love to do. I love to chucker hunt. So anytime we're developing a product, it goes into the chucker hills. So running that bladder is fantastic here. On the top here, this is for you to be able to route the hose out the top and keep that separate. You can run that up into a harness. And speaking of shoulder harnesses, you can actually run this without one. The harness can attach here. It is a modular option. You can purchase it with or without one. Or as I mentioned very early in the video, if you already have a finalized system and you want to just run this for a quail hunt you're going on, or maybe you're going into training season, you can swap the game bag off, take your harness off, save that for hunting season, and have a totally different system set up to accommodate whatever you're doing at that point in time. The buckle, we have kind of already seen that open here. I hated that they were a fixed point most of the time. You know, they're sewn entirely together across the top. The access holes, if you've got big hands, they're just a pain in the butt to try to get into. Wasn't very user friendly. So we have this on a slip system, so I can accommodate the overall width of this. Very, very flexible product. We have a lot of guys that hunt early season sharptail. I have some guys, if you're hunting states where you only have a 2 or a 3 rooster limit, this has the room for that. I've seen people put more birds in there, and while it wasn't designed necessarily for some of the bigger birds, there are guys that are going on shorter hunts and they don't need a lot, but this checks the box, and so it's been fun to see this excel in multiple applications there. You also have the adjustment points on either side here. You can cinch these closed. You have one of those on either side. So again, additional ways to configure the way that you access this game bag. If you want to shut off one side, cinch it closed. If you only want to run birds from one side, leave that open. We also have, I guess I'll open this for the probably the 3rd or 4th time. We have a narrow zippered pouch right here. It's going to stem down the side of the game bag. It is narrow, but it's great for flashlights, multi-tools, any of those narrow type goods that you'd want to stuff in there. I've even seen guys put bear spray in there, guys that are maybe hunting early season grouse and you can only shoot a couple grouse. You can run a bear spray in there. I've seen guys do that as well. So lots of flexibility. And then on the back here, we do have a dual zipper. This is a large pouch that really gives you a lot of organization. You know, I tell people when we were developing this and I was going chucker hunting, like I said, I just took off my Summit bag and I threw this on, and I was really surprised at the amount of gear that I was able to put in here. Even though it's a very, very small platform, there's a lot of organizational options in it that make it very, very flexible. So you've got room in here. You can still carry some food if you're going on a long walk with your buddies. You can still carry your first aid kit and not be chewing up precious real estate on the inside of that game bag. And then probably the last and final thing to point out here is we do have jacket lash location tabs right here to where you can stem those through and you can strap an additional layer on the back. Late season, you get out of the truck, It's kind of cool, a little bit of chill. You get hiking, sun comes up, you want to take off that layer. You don't want to stuff that in the game bag. Again, that's where, you know, the blood, the feathers, the gunk is. If you're on the road, you're traveling with some buddies, no one wants to be the one stinky guy that has a nasty jacket the whole time. Keep it clean, keep it safe, keep it secure, strap it to the back with some jacket lashes there. You'll be happier, and so will your hunting buddies. But lumbar pad on the front, that's on all of them. Man, I really think that kind of covers everything that I really wanted to drive home in this video. Unique enough things about them. You know, these all come in at different price points, and they were all kind of designed for people that are doing different types of hunting. But again, leveraging the waist belt, the shoulder harness, you can plug and play to your heart's desire and really configure this for your wants and needs. Again, driving home the point of, we wanted to create a platform that you as an end user could leverage to create a system that works best for your style of hunting. No two hunters hunt the exact same, carry the exact same gear. We're all unique in that way, and understanding that from years of field experience, we wanted to make sure that our products reflect that. So we appreciate you taking time to understand a little bit more about our game bags. We appreciate you following along the series. Lots more good stuff to come. If you haven't, please make sure you take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to put as much education on here as we can, as much information, but we got some fun hunts, we got some cool films that we're working on, and we want to make sure that those are available to you. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button so you get those notifications. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're just normal blue collar guys. We love bird hunting, but we know how to sew. Hit us up. There's a phone number on the website, support@finalrise.com. We're here to help, and we appreciate your consideration. Thanks so much. God bless.